Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Now we have the Bajan Firefighters Network joining us now. Whitfield Harris is the public safety advocate with them, and Jason Collins is the public safety advocate with them as well. So both same title sharing with us today, and they came through with their shirts. Didn't bring any for me, so I'm going to have to trust your judgment as an honorary member. So good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning, welcome. Thanks for having us.
All right, great to have both of you with us.
Thank
you. Jason, talk to me a little bit about the network.
Yes, the Bajan Firefighters Network started in 2001. It started as a firefighters online platform, and then it evolved after in 2015, January 7th, 2015, it became a registered charity number 1133. So and here we are until now. We basically do a lot of outreach and helping in humanitarian services with persons, especially in the public, as it relates to public safety.
That's excellent. I know both of you are former members of the Fire Prevention and Code Enforcement Unit of the Barbados Fire Service. What does that mean in real terms?
So, well, basically, in terms of the charity, it just helps us to give persons good sound advice on things to do and not what to do.
All right, so what are some of these things that people should and should not do? I know we're talking about the charity, but I think it's important to kind of classify what we're talking about once we preface it with the fact that you guys have all of this knowledge and expertise.
Well, it's funny you've gone there, you kind of jumped the gun, so to speak, but no problem. Basically, that comes under some of our tips as well that we would like to offer, share with you this morning. Stuff like, well, obviously we're approaching what we call the dry time, or the crop season, as we call it in the department. And there are certain things, a lot of grass fires and bush fires and so forth are usually the order of the day, and we would like to advise people things like simple things, not throwing out cigarette butts while you're driving, that kind of stuff. Things like keeping your surroundings clean, keeping the grass around you as low as possible, because oftentimes when people hear fire safety, people think something elaborate. Basic housekeeping, we always say good housekeeping practices are very important in terms of your safety.
So one of the other things that I can add to that is if you live in an area where it has a nice open field or what we call bush around, we would suggest that you clear about 30 feet or so away from your property. Despite it might not be your property, clear away, because when the fire comes and that area is low, it dies down. You don't have to worry about your property being threatened with the fire. But if you left the bush and let it grow, well, then you're looking at issues.
All right, absolutely. Let's talk about how people can become a part of the network. Must you have been or must you be a part of firefighting or have been a firefighter to be
anyone
can
a
member?
Join. Just go on the website for the charity and sign up to be a volunteer.
Right, and that website is www.bajanfirefighters.org. I'll repeat it, www.bajanfirefighters.org. That is the website you can go on and you can register to be a part of the charity. The only prerequisite, if there's any, if you may call it that, would be that person should be
willing to
give
up their time.
Give up their time, basically. That's about it.
All right, I know that you said you do a lot of charity work. Through the charity. So talk to me about some of the initiatives that you engage in as the Barbados Firefighters Network. Tell me a little bit about
one of them that
activities.
we've done in the past is that basically we had collected, did a food bank where we collected items and stuff to give to persons. So we did that one. Then also there's some others that we go into the community and we would do surveys in terms to see what persons' need assessments are, in terms of what will happen in case of a fire or anything like that.
Additionally, we also do smoke alarm installations for vulnerable or elderly persons living alone and that kind of stuff. And that's an ongoing project.
Yeah, talk to me about what it means to be able to kind of continue your work, because this is kind of like an extension of what firefighters are able to do Usually, if you see firefighters, something has happened. So to be able to kind of get ahead of that and, engage with the public about ways that they can kind of mitigate any challenges or the extent to which they experience fallout from damage or fire or any other, eventualities that put them in a bad position, says a great deal. I would imagine it must be quite rewarding as well.
Yeah, well, you started by saying usually when you see a firefighter, something has gone wrong. And that's a narrative that over the years we've been trying to change. Instead of always responding, we try to also give out tips and do a lot of preventative measures as well, because that is just as important as, responding when something happens. Things will happen, but the more we keep putting information out there, feeding the public with information for their own safety, I think the closer we are to mitigating as many emergencies as you would have on a normal basis.
All
so
right,
it's an ongoing.
That's good stuff. What drove you to want to be a part of this? Because there must have been something that came up that struck you in the right way about wanting to be a part of the charity in this way.
Well, from the inception back in 2001 when we heard about, we forming this group. And because basically it was looking at exchanging shirts and badges with other fire departments from across the world and stuff, because what happens sometimes is that guys come from different countries and they come and they want to get a shirt and so forth. So after that, and then when we had certain persons that would have experienced house fires, and we tried to, we felt the need to do something for them. And basically that's how the group got going. So most persons want to be a part of the giving back.
All right, good stuff. What's in the pipeline? No pun intended, Mr. Firefighter.
Well, you said what is in the pipeline? Our food drive, our annual food drive has started on the 25th of January and it will run till the 31st of December. And this food drive is generally to help persons, who would have probably been fire victims and so forth. Persons who are desirous of participating in the food drive can contact us at 833-8184, 833-8184, or you can email info@bajanfirefighters.org. I'll repeat the email again. Email address info@bajanfirefighters.org for those persons who are interested in making donations to the annual food drive. And the donations, provisions are made to make drop-offs at any of the fire stations, and the fire stations I see in front of me here in my notes are the St. John Fire Station, Worthing Fire Station, Bridgetown Fire Station, and Archall Fire Station. What we would ask is that you contact one of these mediums, whether it be the number or the email, before you make those drop-offs, though, if you're going to make a contribution, so that we know before you get there that there's someone there to receive the stuff when you come to make those donations.
All right, so those tips you shared with me, though, I want to commend all of you and your entire team on the work that you're doing, across the island, sharing and engaging with regular Barbadians. So we're going to double back to the tips, since you thought I jumped the gun, because I figured it was your interview. So, but
fair enough.
Boy, tell me I jumped the gun. So let's go back and go in that direction, and talk a little bit more about the tips. One thing that stuck with me is throwing the cigarettes butts through the window. Yeah. So it's been found that that's one of the ways that people are igniting grass.
Well, what we will say is that is one of the reasons. That's one of the things that is very possible. It's highly possible. Obviously, we're not there when a fire starts, so we most of the time might not be able to ascertain that was the reason for it, because at this time we have a lot of bushfires.
Yes.
But obviously, because we have so much of them, that is just one of the things that we would advise the public not to, engage in, because we do random things without understanding the consequences that they can have.
And the next thing you said was cut your grass, man.
Yes.
That is.
Yes. You need to cut the grass very low as possible. So once you do that, the chances of a fire spread is reduced significantly.
All right.
Especially for those, there are areas that the public know every year will burn. And once you know you live in those kind of areas, especially, you want to keep around you, free of any debris and grass and so forth, so that when that fire occurs, because it will happen annually, there are certain places, you'll be able you wouldn't have to worry about, your property
Yeah.
being lost.
I live on a hill somewhere in St. Philip, and it seems like every single night for the last 2 weeks on my way home, I'm looking at a fire burning somewhere. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm upwind or downwind or whatever from all of that. So I mean, like, there are challenges in so many ways. People who are in the immediate area, it presents a challenge to them. But then people who are kind of downwind of all of
Yeah.
that smoke, it presents challenges
Yes,
for us as well.
The asthmatics and the persons with sinusitis and so forth, it does affect them.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in. Whitfield Harris and Jason Collins, public safety advocates with the Bajan Firefighters Network. I hope one day you guys will allow us to follow you with some cameras so that we can see the behind the scenes stuff that you're doing. And thanks, of course, for keeping Bajans safe and in all the work you do, because it is a very dangerous job that you do. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
also
right,
for having
Bajan
us.
Firefighters Network, check them out online. And if you want to be a part of the charity, all you have to do is go online and register. You don't have to be a firefighter
No.
to be a part of the
charity.
charity. So get out and do some charity work.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.